Oh, that's perfect. Well, tell us one of your key philosophies. What makes this school so much different? I mean, I've just spent the morning here, and I'm just in a whirlwind of the fun, the interactive, the paintings on the wall, the respect the kids that you've taught them. It is like a whole different Shangri-La here.
Right.
Tell us, what do you think makes this different?
Well, there's a lot. I think one of the main things about it is just our expectations of the kids. You know, I told our staff, I said, these kids are gifted. We're going to see they're gifted. We're going to believe they're gifted. I said, I don't care where these kids come to us from, what issues they've had in the past. I don't care if they were a gifted kid or if they have learning disabilities, behavior problems. Every kid that comes in our school is gifted. We're going to see they're gifted. We're going to lift them up, and we're going to teach them like they are gifted. And so we have such a high expectation in our school where all around the country, because of No Child Left Behind, what we find is a lot of situations we're dumbing down and dumbing education down to kids, teaching to the lowest element in the classroom, getting our brightest kids to tutor the lowest kids. And so what's happening is that we're doing a disservice to our brightest students in our country. If you maintain that for 10, 20, 30 years, where will our society be? Right. Where other countries like India and China, they're teaching to the top. So at our school, we teach to the top kids in the class, and those kids that we don't want to leave behind, we find ways to fire them up and to get them excited to get them to that level. And last year when our kids started, they were scoring better than 39% of the nation in math on the Stanford 10. The last week of school, they outperformed 86% of the nation. It's because we have such high expectations. So that's one thing that makes our school different. Another thing is that we teach a global curriculum here. We integrate everything we're teaching with the world. And not only do we teach our kids about the world, we take them there to experience it. By the time our kids are in the 8th grade, they will have been to 6 of the 7 continents. We teach them and take them around the world so that they become a global citizen.
Can I be a teacher here? You go all around the world. What started you taking these kids, which I think is so magnificent, giving them hands-on experience to the world? When I was in school, we went to the local, bakery to see the, the local museum.
Right.
You take them to almost every continent?
Everywhere but Antarctica.
A little too chilly for you?
It's a little too cold.
We didn't get you, so we need to donate coats to you.
Not worth the trip to get there. But
what started that?
When I started teaching these kids, they were lethargic, they were kicked back, they weren't interested in life. They didn't see their potential. I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? They said an NBA player or a football player. I mean, I said, there's so many things in the world, and I wanted to get these kids out. And I started taking them on trips, and the more trips I took them on, the more wide their eyes became, and they were excited, the more they learned. And so I wanted to show these kids the world. And then I started taking them on trips. We ended up in South Africa. The kids met Nelson Mandela there, and I took them to Japan and England and all over the country. And the more trips, the more powerful these kids became, the more confident. And then as they went through life, the more successful they were. And so I realized taking kids around the world, introducing them to different nations and cultures, that's the way to get a kid really to be successful.
And what are your trips? Where are the places that you go?
Oh, everywhere. We go to well, not Antarctica.
Everywhere.
Everywhere but there. This year and the next couple of years, we'll go to the Galapagos Islands, we'll go to Australia, Japan, Los Angeles, Italy, England, Paris, New York City, Washington, D.C., and that's the next year. And so
people sponsor the kids to go? Is this part
Well, our main sponsor is Delta. Delta Airlines flies us all over the world. So we love Delta. That's one of the main reasons we wanted to be in Atlanta is because of Delta.
Perfect.
And also Intercontinental Hotels, they give us hotels around the world. And so they help us a great deal to make these trips possible. We ask people to make donations to our school to help us fund our program to train these teachers from around the world, but the real what we need money for is our operating expenses. We don't need money for the trips around the world. Those are covered from Delta Intercontinental Hotels. We need money just for operating expenses.
Okay, interesting. So, can any child come here? What is your basis for a child coming here?
And well, if you want to come as a child or as an adult.
Can I come as a child?
If
Go back to school.
If a teacher's interested in visiting or if a kid's interested in visiting, they could go to our website. It's RonClarkAcademy.com, and you can learn how to apply for a child to come here. We take all different types of kids from all different backgrounds and all different economic levels, and so there's nothing that would really keep a child from having a chance of being accepted here.
It's not the highest or the lowest. It's a nice variety.
We take all different types of kids, and also if a teacher wants to come visit, you can go online to set up a date to come to a conference or to set up a visitation day. It's really easy. You just go online, pick your day. You can pay with a credit card, or your school district can pay with a purchase order. And it's really easy to sign up to come and be at our school. But the best part, if you can't come visit, if you go to ronclarkacademy.com, you can click on the slide, and we have a website where you can watch our videos, watch our lessons, download our lesson plans. So for those who can't come in person, you're able to actually come here virtually through the internet.
So kids can do that?
Yes, kids could as well, but it's mainly for teachers.
Okay, for teachers.
But kids could if they wanted to.
Wow, they're all going to want to come here. I want to ask you a little bit more about the transition. Once you've been a part of this, what I want to call like the Disney World of school, it's excellence. It's everything from being immaculately clean, professional, well-dressed, fun, vibrant, to going now into high school. We're going to talk a little bit about that when we come back. So don't go away. We're going to talk a little bit more about the transition and what happens to these kids after they've had this amazing experience in middle school. What happens then? So don't go away. We'll be right back, and we'll have some surprises for you too.
It's easy, it's easy. Just take it one step at a time. Stay in line and you'll be fine. Because when we begin together. Parentheses first, now please be covered. X1's come right next to line. Gotta multiply and divide at the same time. Subtraction and addition, walk it out with some condition. It's the order of operation. It's the order of operation. H, A, plus order of operation. H, A, plus order of operation. H, A, plus order of operation. H, A.
Well, welcome back. This has been such a privilege and such fun today being at the Ron Clark Academy here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're not done with them yet. Ron, tell us a little bit more about once they've had this wonderful experience. This is 5th through 8th grade.
Yes.
It's a phenomenal experience. Not only have they learned manners and respect, you have such an interactive way of teaching. What happens when they go into what I call the real world and go off to high school and they have to leave you in this school behind? Tell us what happens.
Well, that's part of the best part of our school.
Oh, good.
We do teach them from 5th through 8th grade, and we really do everything we can to teach these kids to be successful in any environment. And then what happens when they leave us, our staff have signed a contract where we will stay in the lives of these kids until they're 21 years old. We mentor them throughout high school. When they get to 11th grade, we take them on a college tour trip. We help them with their grades. Copies of their report cards are sent here to the school so they can check it. And I've been doing this for years in North Carolina and in New York City. And it's funny because the parents in New York City would say, Mr. Clark, he doesn't care anymore if I see his report card. He's an 11th grader, but he is terrified because he says, Mr. Clark's going to see this. He's going to have a fit. And so I do have a fit, and I really stay involved with the kids. And they call at all different hours and constantly calling, Mr. Clark, should I take this job? What do I say in the interview? How do I ask my girlfriend to marry me? What major should I select? So they're constantly calling because a lot of the kids that I've worked with in the past, they don't have someone to turn to. And so I'm glad they have me to turn to. And these kids at the academy, they will have us to turn to for years. A lot of people say, well, what happens when they leave 8th grade? Well, they never really leave because they're always part of our family.
So these are your kids.
I've been to so many weddings and events and graduations. And
you remember them all by name, don't you?
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's one thing I don't like about public school education or private school education is that it's like we get this wonderful group of kids for that 1 year. We build a bond and it's exciting. Then those kids move on and a new teacher and it's kind of the lines kind of cut. I think we really need to work harder to stay in touch with kids and really let them know we still care about them and to send notes of encouragement and go to graduations and to build more of a family atmosphere in education.
Well, teachers mean a lot because we all remember our favorite teacher or our worst teacher, our best years or our worst years. So that's always a memory for us, and that you're in their lives forever is so cool. But tell us